welcome back to the channel. Today we are building an exhaust for the Flathead powered Farmall. I'm still debating what direction, whether we do vertical or we do something sort of out the back. I will figure that out as I go along. I think where we'll start is building a flange and then figuring out how to get it away from the frame and fuel and all that. So without getting into too much depth with it, let's get after it. Also, before we get the video started, I want to thank all my new subscribers. Thank everybody who's been commenting. I appreciate all the encouragement with my builds and projects. It really helps me along the way and encourages me to keep going. So thank you to all you new subscribers, all you old subscribers, and I just want you to know I'm really appreciative, and I'll keep all of my content coming. So thanks again. Now let's get to the video. So the first thing is this flange here on the manifold. It's basically what they mostly refer to now as like a V-clamp style, I think. So I'm assuming there was some sort of clamp, so you would have a flange that comes up here and then there's like a V-shaped clamp. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build the second half of the flange and then just build my own clamp, and then that'll start out the rest of the exhaust, and then we can attach from there. So my idea is to basically just cut this right at this lip, just on the top section here, and then that will basically slide right up, and then the clamp will go around the bottom of this and the top of that. So I think with this it should go over just fine, and I've just got to find the right materials to do it. It'll take a little thought, but I'll figure something out. So I'll get after it. So here is our lower flange up to the top flange. So it'll seal pretty good. You can see the taper in there. Should seal fine. So now I've just got to figure out a clamp. Okay, so my current idea, so I bent 2 rings here, and the plan is we'll have 1 on each side, and then I'm going to weld tabs on, and then all we have to do is, run bolts through the tabs on the outside here, and then that'll squeeze the connection together and then still allow for some flex. So that should work. I have to cut some tabs, get the bolts, and then I have to stretch this around the manifold first, weld the tabs on. Not a whole lot, but I think it'll work. All right, so here is what we've got. So you can see the top flange. I ended up, I made a circle like this one, but I had to shrink it. So I just cut and then welded the two halves around. So it still spins there if I need it to. So there's that flange. Well, top half of the clamp anyway. And then this here is going to be the bottom, if I can get it up. So, you know, once I slot the holes in the lower clamp, well, I might not have to, but the size is a little different, so I might have to slot them. But anyway, you get the idea. Once we thread bolts through both, it'll clamp this flange together and should be pretty solid. So I will work on getting these rounded off, holes lined up, bolts in, and I'll get it bolted up, and then we can see what piece of the exhaust is coming next. Okay, so here's our flange with bolts in it. I want to put springs in here like on a normal exhaust flange, so we'll do that eventually, but for now that this is close, we can start building the exhaust off of this. So I haven't really decided what exactly I want to do. I know I thought I might figure it out in the process of building this, but I'm not sure. Obviously, I think it makes sense to try and make it go out the factory position in the hood. So I think I may just do that. So what I have is this 180 basically, and so I'll have to install it here. We'll have to tack this on, and then you can see the clearance is kind of tight there, but I think I'll be able to figure this out with, you know, just a little bit of modification. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack this on, and then we'll see as far as manifold clearance, it'll be close, and obviously this fuel line being there isn't a good idea. So we'll get it figured out. I just got to get this tacked on, rough in some other pieces, and yeah, we'll see what we come up with. All right, so we ended up with something unique that I think is pretty cool. So here it is. Here it is. So we ended up, being that I wanted to keep the heat away from the intake and eventually wound up routing the fuel line differently, this seemed to work the best. It is a little close to the tank, but I think I can do like a heat barrier there and it'll be okay. And also we have all of this exposed so it won't be too hot here. But we'll see. I think that looks pretty good like that. Yeah, if you didn't know, I feel like you would see that and be like, oh, that's factory. And then on top of that, there's Windsor. We have the intake here. And I think I'll end up just running the intake out the normal hole here. So that'll be pretty neat. So now that I have this roughed in, I can pull it all off, finish weld everything, and then the exhaust will need like at least one support I'm gonna put on there, probably up top here somewhere. But I got to get everything welded so that it's solid, let it cool, and we'll figure out some sort of brace. So that's what's next. I'll get after it. So, new day in the shop, and we're getting this support, some support here to, help hang some of this weight. And I think I'm gonna run some flat strap off of this bolt, and then it'll just come diagonally perpendicular with this diagonal here, and it'll just wrap around, and we'll just weld it top and bottom, and then it'll come up attached to this bolt, and then I will make another one up off of the top here somewhere. So we'll get this bottom one made, then do the top. Okay, so we have our lower support here tacked on, and then for the upper, I think I've decided to, I have this piece of angle, so I think I'm going to clean these out. I'll run a tap in them, and then we'll put this, let's see here, we'll put this angle on there. And then we can run basically a strap out this way, sort of like I did here. And we'll just hook around to hold, and then we can bolt it all on like that. I think this is gonna look really good. I'm excited to see what it sounds like because I haven't started with this pipe on yet. So I want to get it all bolted on, and then we'll see what it sounds like, if there's any flex and things like that. But enough talking, I'll get after it. Okay, so we have our lower exhaust mount, our upper exhaust mount, and it's solid. It's not going anywhere. So since everything is fixed, we have fixed engine mounts, fixed trans mounts, and then the exhaust is fixed. I'm not worried about vibration or anything like that. So now the last thing is to just pull everything off, and we'll get both brackets completely welded around the exhaust, everything cleaned up. Then we can reinstall, and we will move on to intake setup. And maybe we'll start it and see what it sounds like. Well, we've got the exhaust all buttoned up and put back on, and for some reason it's not wanting to run. So I'm gonna have to tear into it. I want to hear what it sounds like. I don't think the intake's a real big deal right now, so I'm gonna figure out why it's not starting. It just cranks. It has spark, plenty of fuel. So I'm gonna look into the valves and see what we got. So I have to start tearing this apart and yeah, see what's happening in there. Okay, so we've got everything pulled off. You can see all the valves with the side cover off. They all look really good. You can tell they've been getting the fresh oil to them, so that's good. One thing I noticed is on this intake here, we've got a split gasket, so it's probably part of the no start problem. And yeah, it all looks pretty good in there. You can see it's black from all the old oil, but all the valves you can see are polished up from moving up and down there. So I think it's pretty good the way it is. This seal's a little beat, but I think it'll be okay for what we're doing right now. And again, we have spark and we have compression, so it's got to be some sort of fuel issue. The spark is great, gap the points, have nice hot spark on the plugs. So I'm gonna get this sealed back up. We'll clean everything off and start fresh. And it may be a carb issue as well, so we'll see. All right, guys, being that I've got to wait for an hour for this to set up, I think that's where I'm going to end this video. I've still got to do the editing and such. I didn't get a whole lot done this week like I hoped, but yeah, sometimes that's just the way it goes. So I'm going to edit everything I've got on this exhaust and the progress we've made this far, and I'll post it up. If you guys have any ideas on these flatheads, what could cause my issue, again, it just won't start. It'll crank, has spark, has compression. I'm assuming it's just the intake not mixing the fuel. So any ideas, leave them in the comments for me. I'll keep making progress on this, hoping to have it just hop on running driving next week, just to be complete, and then we'll move on to my next project idea. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in today. Remember to like this video, please subscribe. We're almost to 1,000, which is cool. We need like 40 more subscribers. So excited for that. Again, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.